this would be our end.
Welcome everyone to day number 3 of week 1 of PCS3. That's the PUBG Continental Series, and this is the third time around. Triple Crown, whatever you want to call it. My name is Cameron Davis, and I'm joined, of course, by Hypoc, and we will be covering all of today's actions. This is Group B and C. A and C? I had this prepped. I swear I had this prepped.
There's some groups playing today, yeah.
There are some groups playing today. Oh,
it's A and C.
It's A and C. Yeah, see, I thought I did, and then I doubted myself last second. That's fine. That's fine. It's been a long day, but I'm glad to be here and casting all these games. We have a little bit of housekeeping that I just want to get out of the way in the very beginning. Quick structure reminder. If whether you're new here or you forgot what happens, this is what PCS is. This is 24 teams, 16 from PCS2 North America Grand Finals immediately qualified, and then the top 8 teams from the Challengers Cup from last phase, from PCS2. $50,000 up for prizing for group stage, and then the top 16 will advance to the Grand Finals, and the bottom 8 will go down to PCS3 Challenger Cup. We do have a number of teams like Hardships and Tactical 8 who are a little surprising with how high up on the leaderboard. There are a number of teams that it's been one day. They've had one day, but I cannot duel being in 20th. How many times have we said, okay, this is the phase that duel are going to really pop off. That roster change looks really good, and then they're in 20th. Again, it's only been one day, but like I'm getting a little bit of flashbacks. I'm getting a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah, but 18 points is like, how much slack have we cut that roster? I don't want to say that roster, but that team, that name.
Yeah,
they've had plenty of chance. I mean, again, you're right. It's one day. We're in week 1, so it's not a huge deal right now. But I mean, that's been the story of it, right? They're slow starting, and then it comes 60-70% of the way through the series. They have a win. It's like, oh my god, is this the turning of the tides? And I don't know. They just leave us guessing. But also, just one point above them, Veritas. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. They also just made a new change, and this is a change that a couple of people were expecting to breathe some new life, because we saw them struggle in PCS2, not be able to really live up to the expectations that they had set during the grand finals of PCS1, and we were thinking maybe this was a way for them to correct course and to sort of get all their ducks in a row, and yeah, it's not happening. Still, I mean, I can't say it's not happening, because it's, again, one day.
There's only started.
Yes, but it's I don't know.
No, I think it's fair to say when this is kind of leading on from PCS2. Roster changes aside, these two rosters didn't finish strong, or at least not in the fashion that we would have expected. Obviously, Veritas, that's the impression that Wildcard left us from PCS1, and Duel, just because it's Duel, right? There are some veterans that have been on and off underneath that name, underneath that logo. So it's definitely not anything that needs to be looked over.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything in this leaderboard that stands out to you? I'm looking around, and there's something that
Fable did have a good day
shocking.
1. That's particularly shocking, right? Fable, usually they come out swinging day 1, and then we don't hear much from them for the rest of it.
That's true.
It's a concern to see them down there as well.
They had a good game, didn't they?
I mean,
yeah, they got second place on one game.
I mean, they had second place, and they got 2 other placement points outside of that. So
yeah, that's fair. I just remember watching one of the games. I'm like, oh, is this it again? Because Fable, that's another roster that didn't make any changes, and it's another roster that I think at this point it's sort of an expectation of, well, got to make a change if you want to continue to climb higher. So maybe you just trust your core 4 that you have. But that's enough talking from us, because you are heading into the first game. It's a all right playing path. It's not the worst. It's not the best.
Seen worse. I've definitely seen. I've definitely had worse with the way my games have gone recently, Cam. I don't know if you've been aware. In the last week and a half, I've had a hard Primorsk ending.
Ooh.
And literally just the most random hard shifts, just all over the place, like back to back as well, like touching the edge. So I'm sure we're in for a treat. We're either going to get a Melter Power or a military off this. That's a given. I'm speculating, but
of course
it would not surprise me.
every single PCS, there becomes a new trend of what is the scene, what is the fad of circles. And so I'm excited to see what's the new popular thing right now. And whoop,
Well,
it's that. Yep, it's a multi-power one. All right, let's go. It's that great. They are loving this. Or at least it should be. We should mention there was a small chance that it goes to South Africa Island, but it's pretty low. The biggest impact is how much water is in play.
yeah. I'm gonna have to refrain from talking a lot because I think that's me like 4 for 4 on calling bad circles today, Cameron. So chat's gonna hate me if I continue that throughout the night. But again, eyes immediately drawn to obviously everybody that's over outside the west. Obviously, we've got to consider Dodgers split down in the south outside Snake. Obviously, the new addition, obviously, well, technically new addition to this roster, but the reappearance obviously within. Obviously, do excuse some of the early game lag, guys. It will iron out, but it's nothing we can fix. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of early game lag.
Know it very well. I think we all do. But just I can't help looking at the teams that are already in the circle right now, which of course is better than being one of the teams outside. How in the world do you even approach this? But Dodge have this split. Clueless, of course, not a split, but they're still in a relatively small area close to the edge. At some like I feel like you would want to group up together as four a lot faster this time around, just because of how many potential attacks you're going to be.
Well,
Uh,
it's
dealing
the
with.
age old. There's like a handful of circles. This being one of them, where you don't want to be late. Like if you're late to
Yeah.
this circle, it's an absolute nightmare. And again, I mean, what's even worse is transitioning through, losing maybe 1 or 2 people, and then getting to a central location, and you're only 2 up. So
Yeah.
it really is that this is one of the ones where a lot lies on that first rotation. And you're absolutely right. It needs to be grouped because there might be 3 or 4 other teams that think, guys, let's loop for 2 minutes, hop in a car, let's get somewhere center, and you could be getting crashed if you go ahead and fizzle. Is kind of a perfect example of potentially what we could see coming up. He's obviously coming to scout out a couple of these hotspots early on, but if he gets there and says, guys, I'm here safe, keep looting up, get yourselves a scope and yada yada yada, I'll hold down the fort. In 30, 40 seconds time, there could be a team rotating a fort that just goes, we're hard sending it, we're going to the yellows.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily, that's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the call from Fizzle. Destinator is grouping up, and the rest of Elusive are not too far behind. They didn't have to move that far
Good.
either, though. They came around the mansion area from Lipovka, so they were already in the zone, but they did take the priority position and get into an even safer, I don't want to say better, because that whole lumberyard mountain really sort of cuts this entire map area in two, essentially, but it's at least a safer area.
Yeah, and the one thing to consider is as well, tactical 8, if they're able to maintain any sort of early game split, actually, as we have Veritas transitioning straight past Shelter, and we know Clueless are only just getting away from here. Only 1 member down here, so I don't think he's really going to want to mess with the rotation here. Probably just going to allow Veritas a little bit of space to get up to the hilltop, but as I was saying, we don't really want to allow Tactical 8 to maintain that early game split. I mean, things like Monkey, that's still a priority position. Obviously, where Lush and Steezy are, that's obviously the flat top and then the 2-story mansion. Those are really, really popular compounds. And to have one team kind of occupying all 3 of them, it's pretty big.
Yeah, you saw on that map, and actually here on your screen right now, Duel is rotating around, not as aggressively on that split as you said, but they're still trying to sort of fill in the open areas that are here, because there's no need to go for an early fight if you don't have to. This empty compound is not as good as Monkey in a circle like this, but it also gives them a little bit of sort of spread control, and this is phase 1, remember.
Yeah.
Water won't get taken out until phase 4, so Duel are essentially going into what is dead center of the circle. There's a real reality that they are going to be continuously in a really good spot for until the mid game, essentially.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of Monka. Steezy somehow looted Mill to Power and didn't get a scope. That's kind of tough, actually. Actually, I think they dropped Mini Mill to Power and then one went to Monkey and whatnot. So I guess that maybe is understandable if he only looted like one building and then headed to that. But actually, Rumblers and ATC might be getting into it up on Mill to Power Highway. ATC transitioning in past Lipovka. They're kind of trailing Rumblers right now. Rumblers look like they're heading up to the cliff up above. You see there Gaxi pulling all the way up onto the plateau. And looks like the rest of them will settle for the yellows. But good position early on. And again, to get this at the 6.5 minute mark is actually pretty huge. They've come all the way from Yasnaya.
Yeah, that's a really big grab for them, cutting right in front of HEC as you saw. But a fight's actually going to be breaking out between Comets and the Gas Cans. Already a knock, already a full kill. The good old Guadalajarans. Comets, they're just retreating away from this. I don't know if this is a fight, as both teams are trying to cross over the South Africa Island Bridge, but they're both driving in through Milta. But Dodge, they've moved away from their split on the west side, but it's a split now, holding down the north part of Milta.
Yeah, and this is always tough to try and control all of Milta at this stage of the game. Like, you can't split. You leave somebody out on an island, so it's very often we see somebody on the south and north side of the road here. Later, actually going to get the sight line down onto one of the gas can buggies. Voxic heading back. He doesn't like the sound of that as soon as the mini shots ring out.
Monty pushing forward, taking more and more ground from Milta. I said that Dodge are controlling the north part of Milta. They only have one member actually in the city. They just have a couple members on the hill overlooking it. So they could cross down if the circle does shift onto the city itself, but they are giving themselves multiple points of access onto the hilltop that is closer towards center and is likely going to be a bigger set piece in the coming circles, in the coming zones. Looking at the big major map, and most teams are inside. We're just looking at three remaining that are following up. SDK coming in from the north. Luckily, they're not coming all the way from Georgia Pole. They did decide to loot.
What is this? What is going on above Ferry Pier? I mean, there's two teams super late, but they seem to be like trailing each other. Freemy, please, looking like he wants to get a little bit antsy onto this. I don't know if they've previously been trading shots back and forth, but Rosestone Snake transitioning past. And yeah, he's not going to get any contact on the. That was weird though. To see two teams this late and still trailing each other is kind of weird.
It is, but you said yourself that this is not a circle that you really want to be late in. But when you come from an area that they both came from, which is Primorsk and Quarry, I believe, you know you're going to be late. So part of you is wondering if maybe you want to go for a fight now, go for some points now, and one of the teams doing that is going to be the Gas Cans. They already got a kill onto Comets. What's one more if they can take out Fable? They do get a knock. Follow-up is not revealing itself as much as they would like to be, and here comes the third party from Rarity. Perhaps Gas Cans might have committed a little too heavily into it. In fact, that's a lot of shots on the vehicle.
Oh no, he's going to catch a headshot as well. Oldest going to pull up on the backside of the two-story. Rip did not get that res off, so Greg's shot will bleed out. They're down to 3 now, and the pull-up actually comes. That's a late one, but Voxic still wins that with the Scar of all things versus the Beryl.
Voxic continuing to put in work for his squad. Oldest gets a lot of damage. Hella trying to do some more from the side, but Fable are just unable to win their fights, constantly taking the blunt end of the stick that comes out from the Gas Cans, and that's another member approaching inside the building. Hexede trying to watch from the side. Here is the footsteps, knows how much danger that he is in. And this control that Fable was attempting to make, not even slipped out of their hands, was torn out of their hands by the Gas Cans.
And I think now we're maybe going to see a bit of a collapse here from the Gas Cans. They're going to want to clean this up. It gives them a really good foothold. That means they don't have to take a risky... Oh, actually, trading headshots out there off the staircase, but it gives them a really good foothold and a couple of points. A bit of a buffer, so they're not really pressured to make big moves towards late game.
Oh, a good molly there. Forces Hella to go and take that fight head first into an unfortunate 2 versus 1. Gets a knock, but the trade was more than obvious. Hexede now in his own 2 versus 1, prepping a grenade, expecting to push, but the timing, will it work out for him? In fact, it's going to be pushed out from the window. He does get one knock.
That flash was huge. He banked it off the wall, called it for Honey Badger, and Honey Badger swings on the window. Absolutely nothing Hexede can do in that situation. Really, really well coordinated. I would say push, but a coordinated end to that fight there, Cam.
And it was all in 2 separate positions, both taking the 2v1s that they had set themselves up for spectacularly, not losing a single person despite having Rarity, despite having Prozone Snake in potential positions to third party that. But over here, Clueless, we saw them arrive to this position early, but they have not been able to hold on. They have lost, I believe, what is that? 3 members now. It is just Shuru forced to snake it out.
And elsewhere, actually, Uncivil going to find a knock and a flush onto the back. H-Win will 4 and SDK 4 strong. A little bit split, though. 1 member off to the north, but I guess in terms of numbers, they even things up close by. Luke actually coming over to regroup now, but SDK done a little bit of damage now and pulled back. So they're weakening it for the long play.
Ready to go where the next phase locks into. We have about 35 seconds left before phase 2 swings wherever it may swing. So it's reasonable that SDK wouldn't want to push that as heavily as others might. But it's all slow now. A couple of shots you see there in the bottom right. And I think ATC might have an angle onto Sonics as well, up on the north.
Yeah, you're going to see potentially a couple of teams fight over the lumberyard area now. I guess this circle shift, if anything, is going to force, again, probably an even split of teams. Some will settle for the edge here. Others will say we haven't heard too much up there, but here we go. Okay. Actually, it shouldn't make too much of a difference, really.
Yeah, this was a
Tactical 8's managed to maintain that split. Now, that's actually pretty big. And Duel, actually, on the flip side of that, have got themselves a foothold outside Milta and also holding on to the Prio compound. It looks like we might get a little bit of a regroup, but that's two things to consider there, Cam.
Yeah, as you mentioned, those splits could be very, very powerful, and I wonder how long they're going to be able to hold on to it, because this shift was pretty fair overall, but it still is going to push more and more teams closer together. The regroup from Duel is going to come in. I'm curious why they chose to stay in this compound rather than the other one that they had on. The other one gave, I guess, more access to Milta. Milta being closer towards the edge, not as big of a priority, and just trying to avoid fights for now, especially because we did see Rumblers loop in from the south side and try and take a position just north of the Milta beach. On the west side now, Prozone Snake and the gas cans are both looking for opportunities to push inside. Prozone Snake able to make their way in first. Honey Badger up front for his squad, using the scope, trying to spot out an opening, perhaps getting a knock to give the rest of his team the call to push forward, and that could be it.
Yeah, this is good. Good little flex out from Honey Badger here. Gets the opening knock. Now, gonna look to pressure this. Nobody from the gas cans following up on this, although Honey Badger does have 2 nades, 2 mollies, so if he can get close enough and Dirty Zin doesn't catch it, actually, he might be able to mop up all 3 of these guys close by. He's going to go for a second knock here. Actually lands that as well. Skazka falls. The res does come off. Hasn't got his first AK off. Here comes the rest of the gas cans, Cam.
First revive did come through, and actually it's a double knock. But then a double knock in return. Trades back and forth. But the gas cans, they will take that happily. It's just Dirty Zin right now. And I thought he could have been able to do more from that high ground position. But I think that rotate from Honey Badger, that push up the north side, caught the entirety of Prozone Snake off guard. And now he is the last member alive, trying to make his way into the safety of any sort of hard cover within Milta. Able to stay alive for now, but again, more points. 3 more points for the gas cans, and still 4 up.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from them so far. And again, that's all on the back of Honey Badger. To be honest, the opening knock, and again, relaying that information, he flexed further forward north so that he could get another angle for the second knock, and then his team follows up on it. Really, really good stuff from them.
You saw that second player that he got the headshot, got the knock on. I don't remember who exactly it was, but wasn't looking his direction. Completely surprised them, was waiting for the peek from the exact same angle that he took off the first knock. Illusion now coming in from the northwest, one of the 2 teams that were coming in quite late, I believe, from the southwest side, able to find a little bit of room for themselves. Spread out a little bit, but it's still close enough to the edge, so if it shifts away from them, like it just does, it's going to be a hard push up that hill. I think Veritas right now, they're not center of the circle, but they're in a position to defend from the west side.
Wooly might get Mini Milta for free here as well. Ooh. I mean, he's headed that direction. I'm guessing they've had eyes this way anyway. They've noticed no peaks or anything like that. Wooly's not going to get shot at all. It should give them all the information they need. Elusive actually pulling back towards the north. That's going to open up Tactical 8 to spread a little thinner. I can't believe I just said that out loud.
Spread a little thinner. They are still doing a little bit of split, though.
I was going to say spread a little wider. So I guess spread a little thinner is a bit better, right?
It's a little better. It's a little better. But they're still doing a little bit of a split. It's not as wide of a split, but they're still taking a lot of compounds. It's going away unpunished for now because so many teams are going to be fighting over this west side. The gas cans are trying to go for more. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is exactly what they were wanting. Drive directly into Illusion. Honey Badger gets taken out and fully killed before the rest of his team can even attempt to fight back. And now they're just driving in between a crossfire of Illusion and the Sonics. This is quite aggressive. I know this is the team that's going to go aggressive, but might be a little bit too much.
I mean, again, consideration to make. Actually, hold that thought. Oldless now going to get this first aid kit off the push. Potentially come through. Voxic holding down here. Actually lands the first headshot, but Show will find Oldless. And there you go. Top Dog will put Voxic down, and gas cans will fall in 14th. Now, I was just about to say, maybe it's not a massive issue. Gas cans obviously... that military drop, it's something to consider. They do have a bit of ground to cover to get into a circle like this, and there's a bridge to consider. So, you know, putting the 8 points up, it's a good trade-off in my eyes.
Oh, for sure. 8 points is still a solid game to have, nonetheless. But when you start off a game that hot, it's a little disappointing, I think, for it to get ripped out right from under you. We're still looking at 13 teams alive. I will say they've been involved in all 3 team wipes, including their own. Something to be said, isn't it? Illusion now hoping that they don't get wiped as they try and push in, but it's instead of the Sonics, they're going to be driving directly into STK. I don't know if that's a trade that you would willingly take if given the option. Show here, running around, not spotted just yet, but Civil is going to be the first point of contact, holding the back line while the rest of his squad pushes forward. This actually might be really unfortunate for STK, trying to push into ATC, and if Illusion backfill from behind them, this could be taking too many fights all at once, but a grenade comes out, try and stops things, doesn't make its way into the building, unfortunately, and ATC are going to be able to get the revives. Yeah,
they get the first one off. Marcelek trying to follow up with some utility here, but nowhere near the down. And Kurt actually on the hunt right now. He's right up on top of the building. Maybe he's going to try and actually, yeah, from a distance, Icy Flex going to land a tag. So now Kurt in a bit of a sticky situation. Uncivil going to re-knock Sharp Shot. Aguila down to 1 HP. That's actually a fantastic nade from Uncivil.
He is going big here. He knows he needs to save his team from a terrible situation that they've got themselves caught in. Pushing forward, ran all the way across Lumber Mill and tried to take a separate angle. Norkis does get Purdy, but Luke trades that one out. And now Uncivil coming in from the back. He's getting shot from behind by Veritas.
Yeah, just too many eyes on SDK. Getting peppered from all over. Actually, Luke will manage to close out that fight, but it costs them. 2 will fall. They put 4 kills on the board, but everybody now knows where SDK are. And you can see Sonics now, after being punished early on, they're coming over from the west side of Lumberyard. Sharu will fall. But Free Me Please is down. So there is an opening right now for Sonics to come in, clean up SDK, and a couple more kill points.
Again, though, Veritas, not as much damage as the teams directly involved in these fights, but they still have presence here. Still trying to third party, still trying to get a couple of shots here and there and making these teams uncomfortable, making it incredibly difficult for any of the squads in these engagements on the north side to come out scot-free. Illusion wounded, but Sonic's unable to keep the pressure up, and it's going to allow them to get the revive and stay and remain as 3. STK now. How are they going to push forward into this circle? Because in their way is Illusion. It's Show, essentially, in that tower by himself.
Yeah, Alo desperately looking for something. Again, they want to put some damage out before this circle starts shifting. Actually, scrap that. Duel now. Come on for the crash. And they've come over from Mini Milt. Obviously did have to move. Sneak attack and J all day will fall inside. No utility here. Both reses getting stuck outside the 2-story.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 trade, but because, of course, they got the 2 in the eastern split between these 2 buildings, as you mentioned, Duel able to get their revives for free. You'd imagine some grenades would come out from Elusive. Perhaps they just don't have them, or not exactly sure on where the knocks and don't want to waste them.
They did rotate early, so maybe that's a loot issue. Obviously, Illusion one of the ones we did see go early. Cherry will confirm J or die. That actually is a disgusting angle from Wooly. Looks like they might try and aggress the mansion now. No.
Oh! ambitious push, trying to get inside. He's able to get in, but it's Cherry taking it up close and personal with the two standing members of Elusive. Fizzle hears the footsteps going down floor, peeking out, wondering what all the ruckus is about. And Cherry, he's just trying to stay here. I think it's honestly, he's just there to put pressure and to allow the revives and the rest of Duel to really get their feet back under them. They do take the building away, and they're able to get into the circle.
Yeah, elsewhere, SDK seemingly still cleaning this up. Not the guys I would have had winning this one show. Actually going to find Luke in the ground floor there, but then runs out the door, even though it was a knock. Not sure about that one. He got the first kill, did the hard work. The second one, there's somebody following up. Not sure why he would not even pre-aim the door, to be honest with you, Cam.
Yeah, I don't know. When is, though? There's a lot of teams that just suddenly got deleted off this server from that north side while we looked away and watched the eastern fight. Sonics are gone, now Illusion are gone, and STK are all but only one player left alive. And Veritas sitting still pretty on the side of that hill. And now the Rumblers, McCore and Waldo, only two remaining, haven't had an unsuccessful push of their own from the mill to beach, waiting for the peak from Tactical 8, who again, that split is still, they haven't been pressured too much by it. I don't think they have too many kills, but they're able to take 4 into the late game. SDK, unfortunately, go out in 9th.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. With this Tactical 8 split, anybody that comes from the southeast, like, that split just draws a line along the road that you can't pass. And ultimately, I mean, it's perfectly lined up here. You can see Lush's position. From this split, they're able to secure themselves a position at the bottom of the hill, which makes the late game easier. Fizzle actually going to swing outside it. Cherry still lurking outside the building. Detonator now. Last man up for Elusive. Going to maybe try and play spoiler on the back of Duel here. Duel did actually keep all 4 up. The second UAZ sended. Oh my word! Detonator hits. Oh my god, he hit the headshot as well on. So Wooly will fall here. Cherry not in a position to trade that instantly, but Wooly will immediately bleed. Pentalo is hurt. That was a dirty spray.
Yeah, Elusive are in a rough situation, but Detonator is making Duel work for it. Grenade's going to come in. Detonator retreats. He's now going to peek right back up onto Pentalo. Lands more shots. No headshots this time around. But how is he going to get out of this? Because Cherry is still here. The final nail in the coffin. Peeking out the side. If he can get this kill, it's not going to happen. Penta is giving support to try and get their last teammate out of this position. But no, it's going to be Lush who picks that one up. So Duel, a little bit of a scrappy push them. Only 2 of them survive into the top of the hill.
Yeah, it's a shame. Again, good cover from Penta there. Obviously, Cherry called out he was going to reposition, but timing just off. Tactical 8 are able to come out and set up, and now Comets have the task of clearing out Deadeye. Upstairs in the Prio, he's going to find Monty and Molly off the stairs. I like this. Cut off any chance of a trade coming up the stairs. Ooh, it's the room. That's for the pre-fire, and actually, oh my god, Weeham absolutely lighting him up through the window. Need to get out of there. I mean, if he takes a tick of blue, this could be. Oh, okay, good.
Ooh, just barely finds a small little pocket, but both of those players, it's going to be a difficult cross. Luckily, Rarity are there to assist their teammate, and except I say that they're now focused on dodge. Scoped in super close. N8's able to get one, but immediately traded by Dandy, who finishes that kill off with Lee.
Oh, nice headshot though from Acro.
Yeah, able to drop Danny. He's now left in a 1 versus 2, I think 1 versus 1 with Lamp here, because Adam is all the way off in the distance. I don't think he's in a strong position to assist Lamp a lot out.
The underhand over the top, not going to find anything off that one. I don't even think that's going to have stunned him. Some more support coming in from Adam now. Adam actually going to knock Deadeye, and that's the anchor position for San Diego Rarity. So it's all on Acro. AG still bleeding, still crawling. Let's see what Acro could do. If he has any utility, he might be able to clean up these 2 closer members of Dodge, but Adam is going to be the thorn on the side. I mean, he's only got 1 smoke on him. Assuming he hasn't got a flash.
Yeah, trying to peek up, but it's a little too late because Danny did get revived and he's popping that first aid kit. Smoke is running out. Gonna have to land some amazing shots, and it's not gonna work out. Just spotted through the fading smoke right before the flash goes off, and that's gonna be Rarity out. Looking at 4 teams remaining And Veritas, they haven't had to move much at all, really. One would say they've been gifted this time around, but how well they're going to be able to push out from this position. Do only have 2 up, pushing forward
Wait.
just slightly on that hill, but not a lot of cover.
That nade was huge. That nade came all the way down from bunker.
Listen, they've been practicing their throwing arms.
That's like a 120-meter throw. What?
Yeah, it must be, actually. Listen, sometimes you just gotta jump for it. Tactical 8, they don't take the fight up north. They're gonna wrap around the southwestern side, try and take it towards Dodge, who have grouped up as a group of 3. And a grenade comes out, looks close, but it's gonna do damage. Doesn't get the knock. Did more damage than I expected, I can tell you that.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, it's tricky. This terrain is such a nightmare to fight in. I mean, the spot that the Dodger in, and also Tactical 8, it's really difficult to overpeak into that dip because you have to commit so much of your body over that angle. And likewise, it's difficult for Dodge to really push out and capitalize on anything if they get the knock. I mean, they have to run up that little ridge. They can't expose to Veritas. Look at this is exactly what I'm talking about. This area that Danny G's in now, it's a head peak nightmare.
Imagine, I'm actually stressed out for him. There's multiple members of Tactical 8 from multiple different angles, but he wants to take the fight to them. Mostly because they know they have to clear out T8 before they can push anywhere towards the circle, before they push towards the overbearing presence of Veritas, who do have to leave the bunkers. But they still have the high ground. Here's the footsteps, but he's being circumvented. Not even able to get the knock on his peak. Danny G takes him out.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. There's one member of Veritas now getting an open angle onto Dodge, but Duel did just get 2 of Veritas knocked. Penta found one, Lynxy found the other. They are still doing work. The headshot lands from Lamp into the Wizard Tower. That's going to pull him away from the bars.
Both flashes. Oh, okay. One flash bounces off. One flash makes it in, and Zealot does a lot of damage, but doesn't get the knock. And here comes the push from the other side. Danny gets dropped, but it's Adam trying to find the trade. Damage onto Zealot, but nothing confirmed just yet.
Zealot, how did he get out of that?
Oh I don't know. And actually, it was a full drop down from Lush, too.
That was actually so close. I mean, Veritas now in a position where they can clean this one up. D3's going to send a couple of Molotovs down. Cut off the angles on both sides. I don't think the first one's made it far enough. He does have a frag. Could try and bounce that off underneath the stairs, but Michael's going to try and work an off angle. Keenan also looking for a lower down angle, and it looks like they're just going to settle for the star here.
Definitely the better play. No reason to push further than you have to. It would have been nice to be able to clean up those knocks while they were
they're 3
wounded.
back on their feet now, Cam. That's the thing to consider.
Yeah, but when you have the high ground and you have multiple positions to hold angles, if you trust that your teammate's able to land the shots, like, ooh, Lamp almost got taken down, and actually Keenan finds the first against Danny G. The pressure is still on Dodge to push forward. Adam finds D-Treat, so perhaps you're right. I did speak a little too soon, but immediately Michael is there to take down Adam. It's all on Lamp right now. Keenan, of course, he's pushing forward. No fear. He takes the win. 12-kill victory for Team Veritas. Didn't have to move much. Really had the privilege to just pick up a bunch of kills of fights around them. But hey, a win's a win, and when you're in Veritas's position on the leaderboard, you'll take it.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, they were a factor in the Lumberyard fight, right? They were looking into Precious Sonics. I think they actually ended up getting the last kill on STK. So they were in a fantastic position to clean up that area of the map once it did clear out. So really good stuff from them. I mean, outside of that, just... no other real standout performances. Your gas cans, that was an explosive start, but like I said, they went out even with that 8 points. You can't really write it off as a bad game. But a couple of, Veritas showing life after not doing that on the first day, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how they perform if they are in a different situation that they perhaps have to work for it a little bit more. I do think overall a lot of the teams will be glad they can get that circle out of the way in the very beginning of the day, and now they can play more traditional PUBG, because that's just a very difficult one to work with, and any number of points that you can take home with you, I think, is going to be preferred. We're going to go to a short break, I believe, while we set up game number 2. We still have 4 games remaining today, so a lot of PUBG action coming up, so you're not going to want to miss it.